I was getting ready to do a show at the Shrine. We were doing Urban Christmas. And as I was preparing that show, that was like Ferguson. And I felt like, okay, we got to talk to black people. We need to say something. So the show was extremely, extremely important to me. So I felt like I needed to purge so that I could give everything that I had to it. So I always journal anyway, but I kind of stepped up and I was journaling, meditating. I was doing all the stuff I normally do double time. At the end of that process, we're getting ready to do the show. I looked on the side of my bed and there was a stack of journals. And I was like, good Lord, that looks like a book. So I thought, oh, okay, well, maybe it is. So I just kind of started playing with it, and the next thing I knew, I had a book, The Smell of Garlic on Sunday. Then after the book, we were talking about how to promote it, you know, how are we going to get this book out? Well, I do what I do. I do plays. That's what I know. So I said theater. You know, let's, you know, if I write a play about the book, well, I started, we did a soft launch of the book in my home. We invited friends and family over, and I did presentations myself. I took sections of the book and I created monologues. So I performed the monologues as a way of, you know, telling what the book was about as opposed to just reading it to you. And when I got the idea to actually do a play, I thought, let me take these monologues that I've been using and let me craft it into a story and try to bring these lifetimes, these periods of life together. Because it was like, how do I get my 6-year-old self and my 12-year-old self in the room with my 19-year-old self? So then it was just about, if all these selves showed up, what would they say? And basically, that's kind of how the piece came together.
Words spoken in the heat of a fight, hearts broken, trying to set the wrong things right. You're reaching for some things your mind conceived. You want to go, then the truth you'll ever need. But you cannot see, you cannot feel what's in front of you, what's really real. It's turned away, trying to shut each.
Let's just kind of talk about some stuff. One of the things I thought about was, I guess, the show that I enjoyed the most. I kind of think the show that I enjoyed the most was Galveston, because it was like the whole thing, the whole experience of it. Friday night's rehearsal, I think we just had so much fun. I really, really enjoyed that Friday night rehearsal. Then Saturday, the show, that was weird, but it was interesting, and so it was a really good experience. And the feedback from the adjudicators there was interesting too. The one guy didn't really know where he was coming from, but still, the experience overall was really, really good.
Probably this last one was probably my favorite, mainly because I think that there was dialogue in between scenes, so I was able to understand where the audience was coming from. Mm-hmm. So when I went back on stage, it was like, okay, let me make sure I stay in character and show the audience exactly, you know what I'm saying? It was like they understood.
By the last show, most of us had become comfortable with our role, and so we were able to pull from different places and bring a little bit more to the character. Mm-hmm. So as far as the overall performance, Galveston definitely, but by our last show, some people were able to pull a little bit more for their characters.
The first one we did because it was like I got through it, and like when I got through, I felt so proud of myself, and like everybody was in there like toasting or something, and I went in the background and I just did like a happy dance. Like I was so proud of myself. So yeah, I think the first one was my favorite.
At least my baby will know I tried.
I think that my character was someone that took you on a journey. When you first met her, she was trying to fix a doll. So I think I had a lot of people in the audience who were probably looking at me and thought I was crazy because they didn't really understand the symbolic nature of the doll. But once I began to speak, you saw me as this innocent young woman, not really understanding men or how to get their attention. And from that, I was able to grow into the love that I had for somebody, and then ultimately ending up being a teenage single mother.
I was a little intimidated at first by playing the voice, because to me the voice is very similar to like the voice of God, or that inner spirit that tells you to do the right things, or that knows you the best. So how can I play this character that knows the best?
So, you sure you want to do this?
This was your idea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have forgotten how fired up you get about following my suggestions.
Okay, well, it's now or never.
Never say never. There's no such thing as never.
Breaking the character down, working with Miss Norma, she really helped me find moments in the character that I connected with, that I fit with. But it was exciting still being able to play this character that's present in all of our lives and that everybody can identify with.
Well, doing this play throughout the time we've been doing it, I've just, like you said, I've been able to discover something new about my character each time doing a play. So it's like a little something I can add to the next play we do. But I think I was kind of proud of my character because people, me being the youngest, people actually could relate to it, and so I think I was proud of my character for other people understanding her.
It took me a minute to get into my character and get comfortable and understand exactly where my character was coming from because of the time period my character was in compared to the time period that I grew up in. Whereas, you know, slow dragging in my time period was the thing to do. So as I was, you know, I had to make sure not to enjoy too much being the slow drag girl, you know what I'm saying? I had to keep in mind, okay, 70s is not really, it's kind of taboo now at this time, women acting freely, sexual freedom, you know. So I had to, like you said, I had to pick certain things as the play went on and add to it because I was slowly developing into it. I was slowly understanding. Okay, at this time period, slow dragging, that was taboo. You know, so I had to find different emotions, facial expressions. You know, and stuff like that.
When I first had knew which character I was going to play, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to play this character. Bull dagger! Bull dagger! Is that real enough for you? The character's name was not what the character was about.
Right.
And I could definitely relate to my character because I've experienced so many of those things that my character had experienced, being the girl who wasn't like the person who was had a lot of boyfriends. Like that, I wasn't that girl, or just I felt like my character was a person who kind of like hid in the shadows and didn't have to be in the forefront. Was okay with being in the group. Didn't have to be the leader. Was a team player, and I kind of related to my character a lot. When people look at the program and they see Bull Dagger, they automatically expect that maybe some butch lesbian is going to come on stage. It's going to be some stereotypical stuff. But that's not the character. It's about the experience. And each time somebody asks me, you know, well, how did you come up on the play and how did you come up on these characters? What's really always exciting for me to even think about is turning an experience into an actual character. And it's personifying. You're taking an experience and personifying it, making it into an animate being. And so that's, doing stuff like that is just really exciting to me, experimenting. But your ability to see that, and not feel like, oh, this is what I have to play, this is what I have to do. No, it's about the experience and how that particular experience on that bus shaped, the becoming of that character.
It felt me when they said it. Stupid kids on the bus, laughing, whispering, talking about that girl around the corner. They said she like girls. Well, I like girls. I like girls and boys. But I wasn't no bull dagger.
Bull dagger was just like, hey, it's me. It is what it is, and she was always the comic relief too.
The pearl is a gem of great value only if you get inside its shell. Until then, it's just a symptom of a diseased oyster. Now that's some good shit. That's profound. That'll preach.
She would say some funny things, and it made you like her even more.
My favorite character would be the woman, not only because each of us were a piece of her journey, but I think it's something enlightening about being able to look over the areas of your life, whether it was painful or joyful, and really reflect on how that's made you who you are, and then ultimately being happy with the place that you are and who you are at the end.
My favorite character is Motherless. I love Motherless. And I think it's because Motherless has been present through it all. Motherless is that inner child that still seeks the... Motherless actually is the core of the story. Because what Motherless wants is really what everybody wants. Mm-hmm. So I think Motherless is my favorite character.
I think my favorite character would be Voice, probably the Voice, because she's guiding through the whole story, and everybody needs that voice to help them out through the story, and she's keeping everything together, put together and stuff, so she can find the ending result that she's looking for. So I think Voice would have to be my favorite.
Dreamer deferred. Mainly because it seems like I could easily tap into those emotions, But at the end of the day, with Dreamer deferred, it's not the end. Her dream is not deferred. You know what I'm saying? She still has time to do what she wants to do. So I feel like I could just tap into those Dreamer deferred emotions. So I don't know. I like her lines. I love what she's saying. Dreamer deferred tapped into a spirituality. She starts becoming spiritual. So that's what I like about her.
We have all been single mama, not about being a single mother, but the things that we do behind being in a relationship with a man, backing up down the street so he don't see you. That was like the funniest thing ever. But who hasn't done that? I know of someone who has gone and went to a person's house and touched the hood of the car to make sure it was cold.
Oh my God. I actually stalked this man. He never knew it though. Like this one time, I drove backwards down a one-way street in downtown Houston so he didn't see me driving past his job when he left the building.
I think Bulldagger's whole monologue was my favorite scene just because that was a monologue that I could never do, especially when she started talking about the syntax and the words. Every time she does it, I'm there with her watching it, and I could never do it.
Immediately replacing the word she-dog for bitch and horny for heat, and those words followed by the pronoun you, followed by the verb of being are, and I was stumped for a bit.
My favorite scene. I think my favorite scene would be when Slow Drag is setting us up for the homecoming dance. She starts kind of jamming a little bit. We all jamming with her and dancing. And so in my mind, I could just picture the gymnasium. I could picture the lights down, music in the background. Everybody's got, you know, they dresses and they suits on, and, you know, and everybody's just trying to have a good time. So I like going to that place where we're at the homecoming dance and you're excited because you don't know what's about to happen. So I would say that's probably my favorite moment.
Well, I'll tell you, my favorite is the water fountain. I really do love that scene. And there are times when I wish I were standing, you know, more to the front so that I could actually get the entire picture of it happening. But to see, you know, from my vantage point, to see each character go up to that water fountain and drink, to me, that is just, it's kind of like empowering, you know, and also to know that that's what we did as children. It's like, man, it touches, like you're right now, I can feel it. It touches someplace deep in me. These little kids, you know, we had to bounce back from a situation that we barely understood. Racism. We didn't understand that because we had lived our lives to that point with no white people. We didn't know any white people. There were none in our lives. And then for this situation to just be thrown upon us, and this is how we handled it. We all went and got a drink of water.
When woman forgave herself with strawberry cake.
And I had baked a strawberry cake. I ate strawberry cake for breakfast, for lunch, and dinner. I ate strawberry cake through the laughter. I ate strawberry cake through the tears. In a fetal position in the middle of the floor, begging my sister for forgiveness. I forgave myself.
Realized that basically everything that she had wanted to do from the beginning, she could have done if she just would have allowed herself to do it.
Okay. So I think, now, okay, if I had to have a next favorite, that one that you just mentioned probably would be. It probably would be because there were, there was so much in it. And especially bringing up that element about my sister, that was, that's still like, I don't want to say unresolved, but just for lack of a better word, that's still an unresolved piece for me. Sometimes I'm still kind of hard on myself when I think about my sister. But then I have to, you know, extenuating circumstances. You know, I have to remember, you know, I was a kid and there were, you know, I had an adult in my ear. But because my sister was so authentic, that was, you talk about real, that was the realest person I ever met in my entire life. Now, in this day and time, with our concept of what's real, because that wasn't our term back in the day. But she was just real. She was just so real. And just to acknowledge that I judged her for that, based upon what somebody else told me, you know, what people should look like, how people should act, but what, you know, what people should do in their lives, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, that I judged her. And now I am the very person that she was. So I think, yeah, if we were going to go down the list, then I think that would be my next favorite. That would be my next favorite.
I was able to connect in more ways than one. But I think the most beautiful thing for me is that I see 3 generations of healing. Yes. Yeah. Because it starts and it can be transferred on until it's all removed. Yes. And that's a good thing.
Yes, yes, yes. And to speak to what she's saying, this is my granddaughter. And that's my daughter. I don't know her.
How does it feel to, what do you think about me and Bibi being so open about our lives and things? How does that help you, or does it hinder you, or
is it too much information?
Yeah.
I feel as though like it kind of it helps me to like open up to y'all, because it's like, it's not like, well, somebody's gonna judge me about it, because like they've done messed up stuff. It's here in the paper, so it's like we got proof. So it's like
mine got written down.
So it's like we've all made some mistakes. My baby's open enough to share her story out. My mom's open enough to tell me about her life. So it's like I'm able to open up more about mistakes and stuff that will happen. So.
Okay. That's good. Yeah, one of the things that I appreciated, Bass, I think that was Bass that said it, the night of the show, was that this is 3 generations of healing. And I actually never thought about that. I did think that it would give you perspective, you know, of those extenuating circumstances. Even my friends, when we did the warm launch, and it was like I was right at that point of reconnecting with my childhood friends, and it was almost like, if I did something crazy and stupid, this is why, because I was crazy, you know. I was 13 and this was happening, or I was 16 and this was happening.
We have moments in our life that make us who we are. Whether we want to look at them as positive or negative, they're moments. And they're moments that we have experienced, and only our experience can make us who we are. And so, because you may have, you know, this happened to you at the age of 7 or 8, or this happened to you at the age of 10, or maybe you were in this situation at the age of 15, they are little dots that connect you and make you who you are as a person. And nobody can change that.
You never have to stay where you are. That life is about choices. It's about being able to reflect on decisions that you've made, good or bad, and not beat yourself up over them, because ultimately they all have made you who and what you are today. And hopefully, just like at the end of the play, you can be home and be pleased with who you are based on those life experiences.
I am just so excited. I'm so pleased with the individuals that were present, that were part of bringing the piece to life. I really, really am. Even though we had some hiccups along the way, that's okay. I'm resolved with that. But because I think that you guys did you just brought it to life, and you made each character real, and you made each experience meaningful, and we had a good time. I had a good time, you know. I think that as different as we are, we were still able to all come together and have this experience, and we had some fun times. We did a lot of drinking together, and, you know, so thank you guys. I appreciate that. I really, really, really do.
That's a wrap.
The Houston Arts Alliance does a grant called Let Creativity Happen. So the idea is to really, really try to think outside the box, and what you can do artistically that, not necessarily that it hasn't been done before, but maybe that you can put a new spin on it and do something differently. But as a person who spends a lot of time on the internet, and I love memes, I really do, I love memes. So I just thought, what would happen if we infused live theater with mimetic communication? And then I thought, what would happen if we took all that and then put it on the internet? So the idea was to create the experience, whereas if you're on the internet and you're watching whatever content you're watching, you have an opportunity to comment immediately. Right. You know, so if a meme pops up and it drives home, you get an opportunity to comment. That's where the interview idea came from. This is an opportunity for you to comment live. Okay. We had hoped also maybe to get a couple of people, and we should have grabbed Sister Stones. What's the name of your business? Pocket Full of Stones. Because the idea was also to get a couple of business owners to go on camera and, you know, promote your business or service. Because what happens when we're on the internet? Ads are constantly popping up. So the idea was basically to create a live experience of the internet.
Last one. Stop when you hurt yourself.
Me.
Stop.
We ready.
And
Oh wait a minute, I need to take off the floor and I got on line.
it's tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh wait, I was.
Okay.
No, that's a lie. That's right.
Tomorrow.
Shut up.
Is that right?
It might have been the way I, the very, or it might have been
Nowhere being over.
nowhere close. to being
The
on
close
Birmingham.
was not. I mean, it changed the course of my life. It changed me.
What in the hell is you doing? Lord? You wrote this shit.
I'm sorry. Okay. Wait.